if you're a straight white man and a Spider-Man is your favorite superhero, it's a red flag. First of all, black, what are you doing? I thought black people weren't supposed to speak about white activity and white people weren't qualified enough to speak about white activity. What happened? What's going on here? But I do like this Spider-Man chain you got on here. Might have to give me one of these. But go ahead. Tell me what your grief is.
If you are specifically a straight white man and you say that Spider-Man Peter Parker is your favorite superhero of all time, unfortunately, I have to remind you that is a red flag. So when a white dude says that Peter Parker is their favorite superhero, I always ask them why. And it's the same answer every single time.
Let me take a guess. Oh, I relate to the character. Oh, I just like Peter Parker. Or I'm shuddering to wonder if the statement I'm going to hear is it's because he's a white nerd. Like I'm wondering. Like I'm scared to know. I'm scared to know. But let's hear it.
They say he's relatable.
Well, shit, he is. You know, little nerd who didn't really have much, couldn't get the girl, got bullied, and then got the chance to be something great. That's what people, want to resonate with. That's what people find relatable. They grow up and they're nerds and they're losers and they're geeks and they get bullied and they got the dream girl that they can't get. And then maybe by stroke of luck, they bulk up or maybe do something significant to where they can start garnering a little bit more respect and attention. That's perfectly fine.
And I always get confused about this whole relatability thing, specifically with white people towards Peter Parker, because what is relatable about him? And even if you don't read comic books, Peter Parker is the character who has gone through a lot of struggle.
Yes, you don't need the comic books to know that. They got like 17,000 rebooted movies to dictate the same thing.
And we all know that white men, specifically straight white men, do not struggle at all.
Oh, fuck me. Like, you gotta be kidding me. So no white man on the face of the earth has ever struggled. All them crack addicts that I see on the sidewalk, they ain't never struggled. They got a better chance of getting a 401k from the bank than you do. All right, cool. The people who ain't got no money, they just haven't tapped in to that whiteness deep inside. They haven't gone in and stolen the blood from inside their bloodstream to spew out into the world. That way they could be absolute 100% in their white privilege, in their supremacy. That way they could climb the ranks and be able to fucking dictate how to operate and how to destroy the black when they start having their confidence. Because if there's one thing a white man fears, it's a black having a little bit of confidence, I guess.
So what about that character are you finding relatable? Now, the way that I view white men looking up to Peter Parker as a superhero or as their favorite superhero, it's not the fact that they see...
So just random question. What do you say to me? Because I find Peter Parker relatable. Or am I just the lost cause who deserves to get whipped?
Themselves in this character, or they relate to his struggle, is that they try to live through that character, if that makes any sense. It's like subconsciously they know they don't struggle in life, so vicariously living through these fictional characters is the closest thing.
So you're telling me there's no white man who's been a nerd, been a loser, been bullied, financial troubles, struggling to keep a job, struggling to maintain a little bit of sanity with all the grief that they go through. And I'm not talking about like supervillains killing random civilians. I'm talking about the loss of family members. You're telling me that there's no white person in existence that's had to deal with any of the things that I just mentioned. It sounds like you have a poor understanding of not only white people, or specifically straight white men, because I guess the gays are the only white people to exist that can't actually function with white supremacy. And you're telling me this because you want to point out what?
To that struggle. But they don't have the mental or emotional baggage that comes with that struggle.
Hey, all of you whose aunts have died, your mother figures, all of you who've had to deal with a dead family member, all you straight white men out there who may have unfortunately, maybe, possibly had seen your father figure get shot, or you just randomly get a call that your father figure is dead. You don't know struggle. You ain't got that mental capacity to understand their struggle. According to who? The dumbass who's mad because people relate to a fucking character and want to feel safe in a form of entertainment. That's the beauty of magical, creative storytelling that is good. You have characters that are relatable. It would be shitty if you made a show or a movie or a comic strip of characters nobody could relate to. And why are you invalidating people's moments in time where they felt less than and they see something on a big screen that makes them feel a little bit better? You malignant piece of shit.
In real life. Or at least not in the same way that us black people do, or people of color in general. Now, when a black woman specifically says that Spider-Man is their favorite character,
what about the black men? How did we go from straight white men to black women? How do we correlate these two things?
That's actually a green flag and not a red flag, because they know struggle more than any of us. Now, another reason why white men saying that Spider-Man is their favorite character is a red flag is because they see Peter Parker go through this struggle and they see him still come out a good person, even after all that he's gone through. So they subconsciously think like, oh, if he could go through that struggle and still be a good person, I could do the same thing too. But what a lot of men don't realize is that there's more to being a good person than to just lock in, going to the gym, and making lots of money. There's actual work that needs to be done mentally and emotionally to be a good person.
No shit. That's the point. I agree with you that there's more to being a good person than just, working on yourself and getting a job that pays you money. You got to worry about inside. You got to worry about your mental. You got to worry about your emotions, which I could be so wrong, but because I've watched every Spider-Man movie and I've read some of those goddamn comics, I know that would mean that to some straight white men, Peter Parker's pretty relatable because he locks in. He gets fit. He ends up with the girl. Still struggles with money, but he gets to a point where he's a little bit better after struggling through the trauma of dead family members, not having family members in his life. Are you choosing to ignore that motherfuckers go through shit in this world because you want to make it seem like the only people who have struggled more than anybody are black women? Newsflash, motherfucker. That's not how this is gonna go. People on this earth, everybody has at some point faced a struggle. You could dictate what's a big one versus a small one, but it's big to them and it might be small to you. A struggle is a struggle. And I hope people overcome that. I hope anybody who's dealing with the loss of a family member overcomes that. I hope anybody in a financial situation overcomes that. I hope if you're emotionally not up to par right now, I hope you overcome that. I hope you get the stick out your ass that makes you want to invalidate people's feelings or what they go through because you want to have a racial conversation about fictional fucking characters and their ties that bind to the people that watch them. And again, I'm asking, what the fuck are we bringing black women into this shit for? Leave my queens out of this.
And let's face it, almost all men do not have the mental and emotional maturity. They don't have the
So we went from talking about only straight white men to all men, and I'm getting a good look at you. You look like you could be a man. I don't want to assume a gender right now, but you look like you could be a man. You strike me as somebody who you say girl all the time, and you got to tug on your privates to feel a little bit of sexual relief.
Emotional intelligence to put in the hard work that needs to be done to be a good person. They think just because they understand why Peter comes out a good guy after all of his struggle makes them a good guy too. Like, no, you need to put in the work in real life instead of just reading comic books that you don't understand.
You need to spend less time worrying about other people fixing their life and more worried about fixing your own life. You need to practice what it is that you're preaching. I'm sorry, you're not a straight white man, nor are you a black woman. So now I'm going to put you in a box of the emotionally unintelligent individual who's desperate to try to police how somebody should feel about a character. And I'm sorry, it's not gonna go the way you want. You got the coolest Spider-Man chain, but I don't think you're a true Spider-Man fan. I think you're somebody performing for the camera in real time, because you are fucking bored. And the sick part to me is that motherfuckers will go through some shit and they need a little bit of relief and they need a little bit of confidence. They can't get it from their friends. They can't get it from their family. They can't get it from strangers, interactions. So, they turn on the TV. They turn on the TV for a little bit of escapism. And, sometimes you try to escape and you're reminded of certain struggles, financial, emotional, physical, relationships, all of that. But there's always like that one moment in the show, the movie, that's like, oh, it won't be that bad all the time. Eventually, it'll get a little better. Eventually, the sun will rise again on a rainy fucking day. And with people like that motherfucker existing in the world, you're always supposed to be ashamed of who you are until you do the work that means something to him and him alone. And I'm sorry, that's not how that's gonna work. If you recognize that there's something wrong with you and you want to get better, you got some trauma, you're not up to par and where you want to be in life, I hope you continue to be inspired by fictional characters, by real people, to try to better yourself. Because that's what fucking matters. Not, oh, well, you don't have the emotional intelligence to understand why Peter Parker's a good character. Fuck you. You don't have the intelligence to recognize what people are going through because you want to invalidate them because you're fucking bored. And I'm going to say it again. Leave black women out of your fucking seminars. They didn't ask to be involved in you bitching at white men about how they go about their fucking life. Fight that battle by your fucking self.